Hey there. Following up on my last video about um, how I used alcohol in excess and got to a point where I had liver failure. And I talked about my emergency room experience where I was hauled off by an ambulance. And in that hospital, I was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis. I want to talk a little bit about doctors. Later on in my diagnosis, when I was working through it and working to get on transplant list, I had some amazing, compassionate doctors. But when I first arrived via ambulance to the hospital, I got the doctors that always, see trauma. They always are the first doctors to diagnose people like me. If you're in this situation, you might face that. And I found sometimes these doctors are a little jaded. Um, and I found this experience a couple times, especially initially when I first got sent to the hospital via ambulance. After I was diagnosed, I mentioned I had to spend 2 weeks in the hospital, and I had one doctor, and she was making the rounds, and I could tell she was a really good doctor. And she was older. She's an older doctor. And at first, she was kind of cold and distant. And um, it's probably because doctors want to be matter of fact, not get attached to their patients. They probably lose a lot of patients in these situations. But probably also, she probably sees a lot of people coming in with liver failure, alcoholic hepatitis, and she works hard to get them better and stable, releases them, and they probably go back home and start drinking again. And so the success rate, I don't know a number, but I think the success rate is pretty small from initial diagnosis all the way through successful absence of alcohol to a liver transplant. Most transplant centers will make you be 100% alcohol free for at least 6 months. Um, and they prove that with blood tests and all sorts of monitoring, but that's beside the point. She was really cold, and I remember um, thinking, why does this doctor hate me? And, and and of course you can imagine being there, newly diagnosed, feeling sick, thinking I might die, and this doctor's just offering no extra help or compassion. And I remember my wife was there, and I said, I'm really frustrated. This doctor, it's like she doesn't believe me that I'm not going to drink again. She's just very matter of fact. It's kind of scary of what she's telling me. And my wife said, "Well, I'll chat with her a little bit." And I guess my wife talked to her like, "Hey, what's going on? How come you're so cold?" And I don't remember what she said, but I believe she instilled upon the doctor, "Hey, listen, he really does want to try to get better, and he really does not have interest in drinking again." And throughout the days of meeting with this doctor, and I kind of had to prove it to her. Again, she's probably seen so many people like me come in, get a little better, go back, start drinking again. And, at first she was just telling me, here's what cirrhosis is. These are the symptoms you're going to have. This is what's going to happen to you. That's it. And oh man, it was so scary. But after days of me working with her and telling her how, I have a lot to live for, I have a family, I have 3 young boys, and I am not going to drink again. It's already in my mind, and I will not do it. And finally got her to believe me. And then she kind of let her guard down, and she was a lot more compassionate. Um, and it was a lot better doctor-patient relationship for the rest of the stay. And she was really rooting for me then, and we had nice visits. But just a quick video to note that if you find yourself in that situation, you may find a doctor that doesn't have the best bedside manner or isn't exactly warm. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Be patient, don't take it personally. You know, these doctors have a lot going on in their lives too, and get through it and find a good specialist you like. My medical team, they always were very supportive of me. I put in the effort, right? But I was very well supported throughout the whole thing, and they cheered me on. They loved me, but you got to do your part too. You can never miss a doctor appointment. You have to do everything they tell you to do. And if you do those two things, you're it'll end up a lot better for you. Anyway, just wanted to talk really quickly about my experience with doctors. Um, if you have any questions, just comment. All right. Take care.